Okay, we're here. So we've got some Lego HP years 1 to 4, the first of 2 runs of this game. We've got no levels early, done by Wario. Welcome in.
Hello, I'm Wario. I'll be the one running this game. I'm happy to be here co-commentating with my best friend
I'll
of
be the
10
one
years.
commentating.
Um,
Yes, I am Exotic Alpha. Like I interrupted. I'll be the one commentating this run, so you will have to get used to hearing my voice a lot during this run.
are we good to go ahead and get started?
Yep, just give me a countdown whenever.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, that's good. Thank you. Yeah, sometimes the game restarts the start screen when you load into a level or start a new game, and so it just takes you back to the homepage. No idea why it does that, but so we are running Lego Harry Potter years 1 through 4, NLE. That's short for No Levels Early. Now, what that means is that we will be playing every level in the standard Lego Harry Potter collection 80% route, completing every level as we go. Right, so in regular 80%, we have the option to skip some levels using some neat tricks, but because they are, most of them are frame perfect, we've omitted them and gone for a no levels early route to make the run a bit more consistent. Now, the no cut in the title is a cheat code in Lego Harry Potter and most Lego games that stands for no cutscenes. And what it does is allows us to skip most cutscenes in the game. So if you'll see a cutscene starts, and then in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see a little button that says skip by pressing the button X, and that's due to the no-cut cheat. And that simply just speeds up the game. There's no other extra tech that the extra allows. But of course it needs to be its own category because playing without it is miles slower.
And even though Mario here is playing solo, he is allowed to use.
I think you cut out there, but
Who's
that might just
just
be on my...
him. Sorry.
Right. So
Yeah. So you and I keep talking.
I'm playing with just one character. I'm playing as one person, but I'm playing with 2 controllers. Now, this is because it's faster to do things with 2 characters than it is with 1, and so I have 2 controllers in front of me, and I'm playing with both players dropped in. Now, we did a little bit of a weird thing there where I was jumping off the edge of the map in the underground station. Lego games force you to watch the entire end scene at the end of a level, so that goes through any gold bricks you might have collected, students in peril, crests, etc. In the first level, you have to watch the entire thing. Now, one of the things that you have to watch is the number of studs you collect and how close that lines up on your what they call the true wizard scale. So if you a meter showing how many studs you collected in the level. However, if we jump off and finish the level with no studs, we don't have to watch that cutscene. So it saves just a little bit of time.
And then when we exit this room, we're gonna go around and talk to this wizard right here. Whenever he shows up after this cauldron, so you're gonna talk to this guy right here. Actually, go through this pet pipe first, and then Fluffy is going to come out, and you can do a cutscene skip here, where you can pull out Scabbers and skip Fluffy coming out there. And what we have found is sometimes you can run into like you can get soft locked there for whatever reason. Like once you come back to that section of the game for 1-6, for some reason it doesn't let you enter the level. I'm not sure exactly why that happens, but I've had it to me happen to me once, and I believe that Wario's had it happen to him once or twice as well.
Yes, I was on PB pace for a year 1 run, and was soft locked from completing the game. But that's why we don't do it here. In most 90% runs nowadays, you will see it done. It saves just a handful of seconds, and so you might as well do it because it's pretty consistent to get. It seems to be if you do it too fast or if you enter from the wrong angle, it soft locks. So right here, what we're doing is we are getting the Wingardium Leviosa charm, and that is pretty much the most used spell in the game.
And now that we have Wingardium Leviosa, we are going to go to the second level. Arguably, I think not one of the greatest levels in my opinion in this year. Just because the little skip at the beginning is, at least it took me a while to be able to get.
Right. So.
But now, this little segment is really difficult, because what Wario's going to try to do here is build these blocks on the bottom with player 1, but at the same time, as you just saw with player 2, he tried to jump up those little platforms to try to time it up so you can finish building the blocks, and you can Wingardium Leviosa those fireworks into the lion's mouth at the same time. If you could do it perfectly and time it up, it saves a little bit of time. I want to say a couple seconds, probably like a handful, maybe closer to like 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 if you're really quick with it. But now we are coming up on the second level. What Mario is going to do here is, with player 2, he is going to go up and knock down this knight, this knight's helmet, so he can slowly start to build it as we progress throughout the year. It'll be a bit important later, to build that. You'll see when we get to that point in year 3 where we actually have to have built it. It does save a handful of seconds when we get there.
Sure. So what you just saw is what is known as a pet jump. So there's actually 2 tricks in there, really short back to back. The first one is called a pet jump. If you release a pet and then pull it back and double jump, you're able to jump twice. So we call that a pet jump. We'll see in a little bit we'll actually get a more consistent technique called Lumos jumping, which is the same exact thing, but Lumos jumping doesn't force your player backwards. The second technique that we just performed is what we call a wrong warp. Now, if you're thinking about it, the word visually, we capitalize the R in wrong warp, so it's a pun on the Super Mario Bros. Wrong warp from those speedruns, and what that does is it warps whatever player we Wingardium Leviosa to the 0-0 coordinate in the level. So what we're doing here is I'm running towards the troll. The goal of that is what we call early aggro. So as you saw, the troll did a little animation. If you do it right, it's very random whether or not you get early aggro. You can just skip that short animation. It saves about 8 seconds.
And to kind of piggyback off to the run warping thing, that is a technique that we will use a few times throughout this run. It does come in handy, like how it was in this level, where it does skip a huge portion of this level, and which in this level particularly probably saves about a minute, if not more. And we will use it in kind of short bursts here and there throughout the rest of the run, where we're going to be using it to transport ourselves from, transport ourselves from different spots across the map, so we don't have to walk as far to save a bit of time.
Yeah, it is a large amount of time. Normally, you have to wait for a cutscene by the troll, and then you have to do a pet fight. So that's what we did before Fluffy. And so all in all, it saves quite a bit of time. We end up skipping 2 troll cutscenes and majority of the first room.
And now we are going to Lumos. Lumos in this run, the spell Lumos is super important because it allows us to do a technique called Lumos jumping. And what Lumos jumping is if you switch to Lumos and then back to another spell, and then like really quickly, and then jump, kind of an all one fell swoop, you can do a double jump, which, believe it or not, actually allows us to skip major parts in this run. You will see later in year 4, it allows us to skip a huge part of a level. So it's pretty integral to this run. So it's huge that we get something so integral so early. But that was also very good 1P2C on your end. The 1P2C in this room is very difficult from what I found. I know you spent a lot of time practicing here, just in this room specifically. But now we are heading to Strength Potion. There really isn't too much interesting to talk about here, other than this room can be made a bit easier by when before you come in, if you switch to Ron, Wingardium Leviosa to Ron, or like have Ron with Wingardium Leviosa, you can just quickly tap the snake, and like tap using Wingardium Leviosa, and you don't have to hold it down in order for it to quickly progress you through the level or the segment and make it go by just a little bit faster.
So I see a comment asking about controlling both characters at the same time. That's called 1P2C. It is very common in a lot of LEGO runs because doing things with 2 characters is more often than not much faster. And there we just saw our first use of the Lumos jump. We're going to do Transfiguration right now, which seems a little odd, but you'll see in a little bit why it's so important. But yeah, the general thing is I control player 1 with my left hand, and I control player 2 with my right hand.
But now here we are in Transfig, or Transfig for short. We're in the Transfiguration split. Here, the most important thing to make this go faster is when you use Transfiguration on a player, or I guess another character, you can transfigurate. I don't even know the proper word for
Transfigure, I
that.
guess.
Yeah, you can turn them into a rat or a toad. And rats, you will see, move a lot faster than toads. So obviously, the more rats that you get here, the better. And we will use the reason we go like this isn't a mandatory spell that you get in the game. You can perfectly well complete this game without getting transfig, but there are a few levels, 2 in, or actually 3 in year 1, where if you have transfiguration, you can skip a huge chunk of the level, which saves a lot of time.
Right, so there are 3 levels in year 1 this is really important, but I'm not doing one of them because the trick can be kind of inconsistent, and I figure we'll keep the stream on a nice pace. So what you saw there was not a wrong warp, it was a pet warp. It's the same thing as a wrong warp, but in order to trigger the entire character moving to the 0-0 position, you need to be falling off a ledge as you drop your character, which is a really niche way to happen. But if you do it without falling off a ledge, you trigger just a pet warp where you warp the pet to 0-0.
Now we are in Lumos Solum. Lumos Solum really isn't too much different from Lumos. Really, I guess in spell, I guess they use on plants. Not really too much different. Like I said, than Lumos, it doesn't really add.
Yeah, it simply gives us the ability to free characters from Devil Snare.
I see the cross in this segment.
Yes. So, as I have found out recently, my Switch is very old, and because of that, it's been running into some performance issues. To give you an idea, I got it in high school. I got my Switch in high school. I am now getting my master's. So you can do the math on how long that's been. But there is a possibility that we crash in a couple places due to the age of the Switch and the amount of stress we're handling on it. If that happens, I have backup saves just so that we don't have to worry about, going through 20 minutes of progress that we should.
And just to put an estimate on how long a crash takes, so like whenever you crash, you have, like, especially in this category, you have to not only restart the run, but you have to go back and add no cut as well, like the little cheat code that we use. That on top of getting to whatever point in the game we were at. So depending on where you are, a crash could lose you anywhere from 5 to about 7 minutes, which is especially.
We restart the game, not restart the
ahead.
run. The category.
Yeah. Yes. Sorry.
You have to crash.
Yes. Correct. Yeah. Sorry, I should have been more clear. But what we just got there was broomstick flying. Broomstick flying, you will use a little bit here in this run. You'll see characters fly on brooms. Harry is one of the fastest. Harry is the fastest of the characters that we will use in this run. On a broom, there are other characters who can fly fast as well, but like I said, Harry's the only one worth noting here. And in this little segment here, you have to build this little ball, and it rolls into this door, and it allows you to progress throughout this heavily visited section. But in year 1 specifically, what you can do is you can jump on those little plants in the top right corner, and you can jump onto that little ledge, and you can actually clip out of bounds and completely skip having to build that little ball. And if you can get it pretty consistently, you have to do that 2 times in a year 1 run. That saves some time, but since we have to travel here so much, it's not really worth doing it, because if you mess it up, it ends up losing time, especially since we have to do it so much.
So here we're watching our first use of transfig, and the reason transfig is so great, as you might be able to see, is that it allows us to jump up walls. Essentially, your hitbox is reduced, so you're able to you're able to get really close to the wall, and then when you untransfig, when you return back to your normal minifigure size, you've now clipped into the wall.
And you will see at like as kind of we progress through this level towards actually I will actually hold off on what I was going to say there for just a little bit, but
So what we just watched was a cutscene skip. There are a lot of ways that you can skip cutscenes in this game. A lot of them are pointless because of the no-cut cheat, but that is one place that you can't skip with a cutscene skip, the no-cut cheat. So we exit the room and enter back in, and that gets rid of the animation. There's one other spot we can use it in, but it's a lot harder to hit because you don't get the momentum from being able to fall.
and what you just watched there was also a cutscene skip as well. Well, I guess not a cutscene, but you can in that level skip that cutscene by doing that little skip right there.
Yep.
Now we are going to
We are going to
1/4.
So this is the point in the first book where everyone's going home for Christmas break. And so Harry and Ron are left alone on in Hogwarts. And so Harry gets his invisibility cloak, and we get the invisibility cloak object for Harry, as well as a little level to go with it. Ooh, that was a bad movement.
And then once we kind of load into the level, the movement in this level can be a little bit tricky, especially in this first room. You will see once we get into the room that there are some books that are kind of roaming around. And what these books can do is if they kind of grab a hold of you, let me quickly, you will probably see them jumping around in this cutscene. But if they grab a hold of you, they can kill you, and it spins you back to the beginning of the room. Which, if you get hit, it loses a little bit of time, just because it, like I said, it does spawn you back into the beginning of the room. And here, what we're watching is another transfig skip. So you can, it allows you to jump all the way up and to the top of this room, and you can clip through this door all the way on the right here, instead of having to build a potion and which blows the door open. So if you can hit it first try, it saves about 20 to 30 seconds.
Yeah, if you do it well, it can save up to 30 seconds. The number one benefit is that the 1P2C in that room is really obnoxious. This should be okay. So we've done one more
And
transfig skip.
the reason for that being,
the reason for it being is that you're
sorry, you go.
making a potion with two people, and you need to traverse all around the room, and it just gets really difficult very quickly.
And now we are coming up on a point where once we go into this next room, there is there's another cutscene skip here. But since we're doing no cut, it isn't really that big of a deal. We don't need to worry because we can already skip cutscenes anyway. This last cutscene, if you can hit it in a regular run, saves about 30 seconds. But obviously, as I've already said, you don't need to worry about it. So, now we are on to the 5th level. And, for anybody, there are six levels in each year, which leads up to 24 levels in total. And as you saw, with little kind of different splits in between. But here we are going to the 5th level in year 1, and it really is. It can be a bit tricky because there's a Lumos jump in this level that is pretty precise. I won't talk too much on it now. You will see it when we get to it. But the reason Wario dropped out player 2 here was because you could do what's called Fang Warp, and Fang Warp is, as you will see here, where I mean you obviously, as you saw, dropped out player 2, so you could warp Fang up to this top section of the level without like normally you would have to build a bunch of stairs in this back part of the room and allow Fang to climb up them, because Fang, as you obviously know, can't use Lumos jump. But with that little skip, Fang can warp up there. And now we are getting to one of the harder Lumos jumps in the game. It has been a run killer for the both of us. It was not that one. It was this one that you will see right here. It
Your audio is a little bit delayed on my end, so they might have just seen it. It's the one where there's a little bit of a ledge and we jump up above that. Very particular. The second one in the back is
it
what we
was
call
the
old
second
jump.
one.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it was the second of the 3 Lumos jumps that you did in that level.
Yeah.
The one that I was referring to.
So the reason I drop out player 2 at the end of that level is because this 1P2C right here is so much harder than it seems. You can't trigger this painting until both characters are on the main platform. And so you need to walk up the stairs with 2 characters at once, and that is surprisingly precise to do, because if you get stuck on a ledge or a cliff or somewhere, it just, you can't trigger the painting and it slows down the run. You lose a lot of time for mistakes.
And now we are in the last level of year 1. This level is fairly straightforward. There aren't really too many skips in here. You kind of really just play through the level as normal for the most part until you get to the chess room, which is about the 3rd room in, I guess, maybe the 4th room, depending on how you count them. But this is the skip that Wario was talking about earlier, that he is going to decide not to do just for consistency reasons. It basically allows you to skip the entirety of the next room, which, if you can do that, like if you can hit the skip first try, it saves about 30 seconds. And then after that, if you can't hit it first try, it really doesn't save any time.
Yeah,
So,
second try saves about 4 seconds, and after that you lose time.
right. So basically, if you don't do it, like at least for the sake of this marathon run, if you don't really get it first try, it really wouldn't do much of anything. But so basically here, what this room was designed for was, in the books, they obviously, as you know, this is Sorcerer's Stone. So they all the teachers put a bunch of different puzzles down under Hogwarts to protect the Sorcerer's Stone. And one of the puzzles that the teachers put down there was a chess puzzle. And so really now we're finishing up, but this is the last skip that you have to do before you fight Voldemort, which we will see now. And This point in the run isn't very interesting. It's a lot of just waiting for him to. It's just pretty much waiting for you to get hit by Voldemort.
Right. So this is the first boss fight and the first real boss fight in the game. There's a handful of others. So each year ends with one. So we'll see the boss fight with Tom Riddle and the Basilisk in year 2, etc. But this boss fight's rather boring. We just have to wait for him to shoot a couple of times, and then we were in Guardian Leviosa, this magic death skull back to him, and there you go. You do it 3 times. Every time you hit him, you go and touch him with Harry, and that deals a heart of damage. Now, if you notice, I keep hitting with my wand. The characters have an idle animation where they put their wands away, and that actually slows down the run in a lot of places. But here specifically, if you don't have your wand out, the skull will take a little longer, will travel a little farther before you start doing Guardian Leviosa. In which case, yep, that's what I was trying to avoid. He gets an extra shot off at the end. And that's the end of year 1.
Yeah, and as you can see there is a little bit of chance for you to fall in the fire as well. That also loses time because you do die, and there's a chance for him to recycle. But now we are done year 1, and that was that all went fine and well. We are obviously now heading to year 2. It is also worth noting that in the regular category, not no cut, it is faster to quit to menu because you can, if you quit to menu, it allows you to skip a cutscene, which obviously, I mean, if you're skipping cutscenes, it saves a lot of time. I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly how much time it saves off the top of my head, but
depending on the console, I want to say it can save up to like 12 seconds skipping that cutscene. Obviously, if you have a slower console such as the Switch, then it's not even worth it because you lose so much time just going through all the loads to set the game.
right. And what we just saw there was a little piece of convenient tech specifically for this level where he got Ginny from out from under the couch and then immediately triggered the cutscene. For whatever reason, that causes the game to believe that, well, so only Ginny can trigger that painting. So the game, for whatever reason, recognizes that since you just retrieved Ginny out from behind the chair, that you are, for whatever reason, Ginny, and that's how Harry was able to wave at the painting, which I think is very neat. It doesn't take too much time, but it is very weird and very fun, very just a very quirky part of this run that I find pretty interesting.
As you'll see throughout the
And
course of this run, this game is not perfectly designed. That's
very
one
much
of the
so.
which is a little odd because this is a remastered version of the one that came out for the Wii and PC.
Mind if I just say a few things?
I saw something in
Go
chat.
for it.
Brilliant. I
Oh,
just want to
yeah,
remind
sure.
people how it is you can donate. So you can do !donate in the chat. You can also click the donate button below the stream. But very handily, we've also activated the Tiltify Twitch extension, which makes it all very easy for you. So you can go through your whole donation there. Make sure you pick in your incentives as well. Don't forget you can pick more than one, so you can go for a poll and a target with the same donation. And yeah, get your donations in. Let's see if we can get to $500 by the end of this run. I believe.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, amen.
Well, on the topic
Make sure you guys
of
donate.
go for it.
Sorry, I was just gonna I was just gonna make a quick little plug, just to remind everyone to donate. This is a really good cause, and I would love to see some of those incentives get hit. So make sure you guys donate and show your support. Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, while on the topic of donations, I will be donating for every run I bop. So this this game has the wonderful fact that you can run individual years as categories. We call them fast stories for having the no cut option employed. So for every run I bop in a fast story and the overall run, I will be donating money towards that.
And kind of to transition off of donating, at least for now, we are heading back to Immobulus. A spell not really used a whole lot in this game. But it's really more just tedious than anything. It really, like, just because the pixies show up at a couple points in the run, and they really are just more annoying and get in your way, and at certain points can lose you some serious time, which is annoying. But now we are going to see one of the more fun Lumos jumps in the game, where you can skip if you guys caught that little pane of glass that was blocking that little staircase up to this room. Normally, what you would have to do is go get a mandrake from the other side of that little room and go break the pane of glass and put it all the way and pot the mandrake. But that is annoying and takes a lot of time, so we don't. So we decide not to do that, and just do that Luma shove instead, just because it is, it's a lot quicker. But now that we are all done that, we are going to me and Wario's least favorite level of this entire game. I guess the infamous Dobby's Plan is the name of this level. This level is a lot longer than I feel that it should be. I don't know if you have any thoughts about why, or want to explain to people why you strongly dislike this particular level so much. But
Right. So I've been skipping through cutscenes. So we're going to the point now in the story where Dobby is trying to take Harry out and get him out of Hogwarts. So he's, we're at the Quidditch match and we're doing a lot of, I don't know, Dobby's messing with Harry's broom and we're attempting as Ron, Hermione, and Hagrid to stop Dobby. Now, this level is very annoying because there's a small handful of things that become really obnoxious when during a speedrun. So what you're watching right now is the first Lumos jump in this category, first Lumos jump in the level. And it's really particular because you have to stand on an object that's not completely flat, so it keeps trying to knock you off it, so you can't jump off. Now, what I'm trying to do here and failing is what we call a long jump. So in this, you can walk slightly off of a edge before the game actually realizes that you're off the edge, and so it allows you to jump farther off than you are, and that lets you skip a little section. That is not the annoying part about this level. The tech is a little obnoxious and irksome, but the level already feels long, and just when you think it's over, we have to play the little section in the hospital where Madame Pomfrey makes a potion to fix Harry's broken arm. And it's just, after doing a lot of tech that's fairly precise, you're just ready for the level to be over, you still have a little ways to go. That's, in my opinion, why I don't like this level. I don't know if you have any other input.
I mean that sums it up pretty well. The one part that I will add is that long jump that you were trying earlier, I do not do that as a long jump. I do that as a Lumos jump, and it is not very consistent for me. So a lot of year two runs die in that section for me because it takes me a very long time. So that is my personal gripe at this level, is just that basically I'm not very good at that part of this game. So I don't know if that's a reflection on my abilities or just this level or a bit of both. But I mean, do with that. I guess what you do with that. I guess what you will. But I also don't like that little cutscene there. Because I can never. Every time that I try to skip that little cutscene where the skeleton is dancing, I always mess it up. And even when I think I skip it, I don't. And
Right. So that's the one I was talking about
now
earlier, about how we can skip that little stair cutscene in 1.3 by exiting the room. We tried to do that there, but it's a lot more precise, and so I failed it there, and so we had to watch the little skeleton animation.
If it's okay, I'm just going to quickly jump in to say that Skillet has very kindly agreed to step in as host. It was originally going to be Forgetful, but sadly had to drop out just because of illness. So I was substituting, but Skillet has very kindly offered to jump in and take over for the rest of this
Hello,
run.
everyone. Yeah, small apologies for ruining runner's stock. So, yeah, quickly saying hello to everyone and good luck to the runners, of course.
Thank you guys. Very happy to be here, and while we're talking about the host, everyone has been so great in setting this up. This has been such a great experience so far. And I look forward to continuing this run and being back tomorrow as well.
Yeah, I completely agree with that 100%. This is, I've really enjoyed being a part of something that is for such a great cause. So, again, shout out to all of the team for allowing us to even be in this position that we are. Talking about Lego Harry Potter for 2.5 hours for charity. You know, that just I feel like that this is an amazing cause. So thank you again for putting in all the work that you guys do. And it really means a lot to all of us and everybody else who is impacted.
So what we're doing now is Expelliarmus. This level is this section is a tad bit obnoxious. We're dueling Malfoy right now. Now, normally when you go to shoot Malfoy, he'll jump and make it hard for you to hit him again. There's a little trick where if you time your shot, as he starts to reach into his pocket to grab his wand, you can hit him before he moves and finish the fight very quickly like that.
Also, if you decide, like there are two buttons to fire off spells in this game. You could use at least like when I play on Xbox, which is the X button, which is the right furthest most right button, and the B button. And in that section, you can when you try to use Expelliarmus, you can actually transfigure Malfoy. And instead, because that over Expelliarmus is in the same slot, which loses a bit of time as well.
We're gonna do a cutscene skip coming up. It's a very unique skip. I think it's one of the only ones like it in the run. So normally with a cutscene skip, you're trying to trigger the cutscene at the same time you're doing something else, usually leaving your room. But here, this cutscene is triggered by you pressing a button. For some reason, this cutscene, and I think only this cutscene, can be started while you're leaving, while the game is already in transition into the room. So as you saw, it started to fade to black. I hit the A button during the fade to black, and it skips the cutscene.
Yeah, and that it doesn't matter too much if you don't hit it in a since this is a no cut run, but in a run where you do not have no cut, if you hit that correctly, you save about, I believe it's 15 to 20 seconds
Right,
or
it's a good
something
chunk of
around
time.
in that. Yeah, especially in a long speed run like this, any decent chunk of time where you're saving 15 to 20 seconds, it really. Um, but now we are heading to Polyjuice Potion. Not terribly useful in this run. The only thing that it really does is just a way for us to be able to get to the next couple. And then outside of year 2, it doesn't really matter too much. But yeah, this room is, as I'm sure you can kind of tell, it is the same room as the strength potion room. So a lot of this room and movement is very similar to the way that you would do strength potion. Which makes it, I guess, if you practice that movement a lot, I guess it translates to some extent. But
There is one other spot where you use Polyjuice Potion in the run, but we've already skipped it, actually. In year 3, when we want to go to Hogsmeade, you'll see it coming up. We have to go down the stair to the left. If you don't build the little gate beforehand, mostly if you don't trigger I don't even know
if
what
you
you
don't
would call
knock
it.
off the helmet,
Right, if you don't follow the pet pipe and knock off the helmet, the only characters you have at the time are Fred and George Weasley, as well as Harry, none of which who have a pet. And so you have to build a Polyjuice Potion to become Ron or Hermione and use your pet. But because we've already built it, we've skipped that little section and saved ourselves a fair bit of time.
yeah, and just transfiguring, or I guess changing yourself into another character. That, I mean, as you saw, takes, I mean, not too much time, but I mean, just in the grand scheme of things, having to go back and knock the helmet off, it probably saves about 15 seconds or so, which, like I said earlier, can really add up in the grand scheme of things, and it's such a long run like this. But now we are in 3.
Yes, 2-3.
Which, yes, which I believe, a little fun fact, is the only level without a cutscene intro, like an intro cutscene. At least that I can
It
believe.
is. And so this is the point in the story where we suspect that Malfoy and his little cronies, is that the right word, I guess, are causing the attack on
Yes.
students. And so we're going to turn into Crab and Goyle, and I guess, like, I don't
Yeah.
even know
So
the word.
basically what? So basically, the point of this is you are at this point in the story, Ron, Harry, and Hermione believe that Draco Malfoy has opened the Chamber of Secrets. So they drink a Polyjuice potion to to turn into Crab Goyle, and Hermione attempts to transfigure or change herself into Millicent Bulstrode, but she turns into a cat. In order to find out if Draco is actually opening the Chamber of Secrets and see if they could find out any more details to see if they can solve the mystery. But now that we are done that level, at that point you realize that it is not Draco Malfoy. So we are going to I guess we're now at the point in the story where they find a diary, and we find out that this diary belongs to Tom Riddle, and basically what happens here is you are transported into one of Tom Riddle's memories, and in this little section of the game, or more specifically this level, you can get a little bit of a glitch where for some reason it believes that you are that Ron is Tom Riddle for whatever reason, and since Tom Riddle, I mean, I guess isn't technically part of this section of the room yet, it doesn't let Ron actually do anything. So as you can see here, Ron is able to Wingardium Leviosa all these flying objects back into the stall rooms, but this glitch, which I'm not sure exactly why it happens, it would prevent Ron from being able to do that, or really anything other than just kind of stand there. It doesn't really lose any time, or at least too much time anyway. It's just more of an inconvenience than anything. Just because it doesn't allow you to do much of this 1P2C, which is a bit annoying.
Right. And so that's actually not the worst issue we have with the game thinking we're somebody else. The worst is actually directly following this level, where the game thinks you are still Tom Riddle. I'm gonna use really that. Yes. Sorry, I had to. The game thinks you are
Yeah.
still Tom
So
Riddle, and thinks there's some player 3 dropped in as Tom Riddle.
And so basically, what to follow up on that what that does essentially is it, for whatever reason, does not let you on the next level switch to Fang. We won't really hopefully have to worry about that here, but it is an issue that just to kind of be aware of, because that if that does happen, you do have to reset the game entirely, which is a bit annoying. So it would kind of count as a crash.
So what you'll see is
But
after this level, I'm going to drop out player 2 and then drop them back in. If I can drop them in just fine, it means we haven't run into any issues. If I cannot drop out, if I cannot drop back in, then we're going to have to reset the game.
right. And what you are going to see here a little bit is you with both players can do Lumos jumps here. And the reason for that is it loses a bit of time for you to have to go around and build those staircases for you to go up. Lumos jump just saves you a little bit of time there as well. And just like that, we are pretty much finished this level. This level typically isn't really too difficult, other than that 1P2C section in the last room, which we made it through just fine. So, yeah, all you have to do now is just Wingardium Leviosa this last little bit, and that's the level.
So
Like
now
I
I'm
said,
going to
nothing really
drop out.
too interesting.
I'm going to attempt to drop out and see if I can drop back in. If I have to drop back, if I can't, I'll just have to reset my game, and then should be good from there. But we're just fine. So no P3 glitch, which is what we call it, because it thinks the third player dropped in, and we'll be able to continue to 2-5 just fine.
Which is great because that would lose us about 5 minutes or so, if not more, just because, like I said, you have to restart your game, and then go back and I believe add the no-cut cheat,
Mhm.
which can, which is a bit tedious to go back and do. But now we are entering year level 5 of year 2, so nearing the end of year 2. But this is a brutal stretch for year 2. Is from probably, as you mentioned earlier, the second level in this year, Dobby's plan, up until probably this level here. It's a bit of a tough stretch just because there aren't like, at least in my opinion, there isn't really too much interesting. Like this level isn't really, like a lot of what this level is really just as Mario's doing here, attempting to kind of jump up like that, and a lot of Lumos jumps. Really is all it is.
So
There isn't too much fancy that saves time.
there is one trick that can save time in the end of this room, I should mention. Which is there is one other
Okay.
Fang Warp, which I did not even know existed until I started practicing for this run. Um, there's this awkward Lumos jump over here that can be done with Fang, but we prefer not. It's really obnoxious. So you can see how hard it is to do just with um, Harry, because you need to get kind of placed up onto this before you can Lumos jump. It's even worse with Fang because Fang has some weird properties um, with how he moves. But if you time it right, you can drop in Fang and just get him all the way up here to begin with. And then now we need to do what we were doing before, but with Fang. And I have just made a brutal mistake where I have accidentally destroyed the plant we need. So I need to come over here and trigger this cutscene. And all this does is means I need to go back to the left and climb up with Fang now. So you lose a small handful of time. It's not that big of a deal, but it's a little obnoxious.
Yeah, it is a little bit of obnoxious, but I mean, luckily, like you said, it doesn't lose too much time. I think it only loses about 10 seconds or so. So, it like for something so small, it's a bit surprising, but at the end of the day, the rest of this run was fairly clean. So, it's not really
So
too much to worry about here.
the bigger issue is now there were supposed to be little guys that spawned and built a ladder. And they have not done that. So I will
Oh,
exit the Hogwarts and we'll have to start that level again. That's like I said, this game is a little broken. I have never seen that happen before.
nor have
But
I. Um,
it's alright. Things like this happen. Um, it's better this than a crouch.
um, yeah. So this is the I guess the beauty of um 1 through 4 um is that 1 through 4 is it's a bit more of a game than its counterpart 5 through 7, which I feel like, as much as it can be inconvenient, I feel like kind of to some extent it adds to the charm. Just because you have moments like this where you could just kind of you could I don't know, it's just funny, the amount of times that you get sort of kind of really strange obscure glitches and bugs like that. So that only it really adds to the experience. But I mean, yeah, there isn't really too much to say here. I mean, you guys have seen this already. I don't know if you have anything, at least for this section, that you wanted to add. but
Not in particular, but I've now killed the hornet, so I shouldn't have to worry about accidentally destroying. Oh my god, this goes in. I shouldn't have to worry about accidentally destroying the plant this time.
so hopefully now you should easily be able to jump up there, and we shouldn't have any issues.
Right. So, like I said, the movement with Fang is a little awkward, and it needs to not only be on top of the flower, but it needs to be positioned in the correct direction. So it can be very finicky. But that should work. Yep. And he's over there. And now we don't even have to worry about the little mites not spawning. So now we're into the third boss battle of the run. Climb to this little level, this little room. Which is against Aragog. So first we had Coral, and then we had Myrtle, and now we have Aragog, who has the lovely ability to completely stun us.
And so what? So as you can see, Aragog, there are little spiders that come down from, I guess wherever they are in their web, and you have the ability to you use Wingardium Leviosa on them, and they spin around for a while, and you can toss them at Aragog, but it is a bit faster if you hit them, and you could just actually walk them right into Aragog. As you can as you can see there, it sometimes is a bit finicky, so it doesn't always really work out that way. But it if you could do it well, it does save a little bit of time. And now this is this part really is just an auto scroller. There isn't too much tech or anything here. It's just really the only thing the one thing worth noting is that the car and the bike do go a bit slower if you do if you get caught by a spider, which you could see is exactly what happened to the car. It a spider landed on top of the car, so it does move a tad bit slower. I don't believe that there's a way to get the spider off of the car.
There's
So
no way to get the spider
unfortunately,
off of the car, but if you play as one character, the other vehicle is not affected by this slowdown. So as you can see, despite having a spider on his bike, Harry was moving faster than me, even though we should be moving at the same speed. Now, if you notice, during cutscenes, I do pause a little bit before I skip them. That's simply because if you skip a cutscene too fast, the game will crash. Right there is one place where
and
comedy
as we
happens.
mentioned, yeah, and I was just gonna say, as we mentioned earlier, crashes in this game do lose a significant amount of time. So any crash that we can try to prevent will very much be in our favor. So now we are entering, or I should say, about to be entering the last level of this year. One thing that I think is really cool about this level is that you can, towards the end of this level, you can do a cutscene skip where you skip the entirety of the first level of the next year. We will not be attempting it in this year because it is not allowed by this category, but I do think that it is fun to mention here just because it does save a lot of time. But
So what I've just done is taken advantage of the fact that the hitbox on the corner of these stalls are very poorly designed, and you're actually able to clip into them despite being a full-size character. So it's not like a transfig skip where you need to be a little small to clip into them. You can do it as a full-size character, and then you can just jump up around and place scabbers midway into the cat fight, which saves a fair bit of time.
And um, and then the rest of this level is basically you just going through this pet pipe here, and as I'm sure you guys already know, but if not, this is, like I said, the last level of this year, which means that there will be a boss fight at the end of this level as well. Which, spoiler alert, is you basically getting to fight the snake. It can be slightly annoying at times. We will see why when we get there. But what Wario just did there, as we talked about earlier, was a pet warp. And the reason you do that there is because Scabbers can, as like once Harry talks to the snake, this the top of this stall lifts up, as you will see, and Scabbers just fall. You just watch Scabbers. Yeah, there you go. He just fell right down into this room. It does save a handful of seconds just because you don't have to wait for the end of that cutscene. And there also is another a prime example of why Lumos jumping is so useful in this year, or just in this run in general, just because it skipped basically that whole room. And
Lumos jumping is your kind of bread and butter um, of the speedrun. There are so many small things that just being able to jump up an extra one more time vastly speeds up the level or the game.
and yeah, and just kind of the, I guess, summation of all of those little things that you can skip, especially with another huge skip that you can do, I guess, which is the really highlight of what Lumos jumping and long jumping are. It really saves a lot of time. And I would venture so far as to say at least 5 to 10 minutes throughout the entire run.
So I should say something we have not talked about yet.
Which,
Every time I drink from a strength potion, what I'm doing is triggering my spell wheel, and this has the property of completely skipping the um, the animation of drinking the potion.
and skipping that animation, it saves about 2 seconds or so, 3 seconds,
It adds
if
up,
I'm not
right?
mistaken.
So it saves
Yeah. So, but I mean, the amount of. Sorry. Go ahead.
it saves about 2 seconds every time, but you end up doing strength potions a lot in this game. And so it adds up very quickly. And that is the end of year 3. Sorry, year 2.
Getting a little ahead of yourself. Yeah. So that was the end of year 2. What I briefly want to retouch on the fact that you can skip this cutscene here with that cutscene skip that I was talking about earlier that we are not allowed to do per the parameters of this run. It will skip that cutscene as well as the entirety of the next level, which in this run I believe saves about, in total, probably about 6 or 7 minutes.
Yeah,
But
it's
in
about five and
regular,
a half.
it stays more. Okay. Um,
Yeah.
I guess in other runs, it's probably longer since you are forced to watch the cutscene, and all the cutscenes associated with the other level as well.
And this is really
Um,
the skip that the category gets the name no levels early, because when you skip the level you avoid playing it at all, which implies that you play 3-2 before you play 3-1, which would be considered early. Um,
right.
I will say we have a
So,
challenge time now. If there's anything that the hosts want to add, this would be a good time to do so.
Well, I do have something to say, as always. Let's talk a little bit about Trevor Project. And what are they doing? Is leading suicide prevention organization and crisis intervention for LGBT young people. What a cool people, because they work to save young lives by providing support for free and of course confidential. That's important. Prevention and crisis intervention programs on multiple platforms where young people can spend their time, and of course it's 24/7 phone call lines, also chats, texts, and etc. Using their own forum site, Trevor Space. Really awesome people. So, of course, if you have any will to do so, please donate. Sounds a little bit strange, but everyone is sleepy, I guess. So that's it from me. If you have anything to say, I'll give it to you guys.
No, the Trevor Project is a great cause, and again, any donations are greatly appreciated. It's such a great thing to fight for.
Yeah, any money is does matter. I probably should say instead of is. So I am totally agree with you.
Yeah, and especially just because I know, like obviously, like you said, it there's a suicide prevention, and anything that we could do to decrease the stigma surrounding mental health, as well as donate to people who maybe experience it, like I guess more likely to experience such things, would be awesome. So any money, like you said, would be greatly appreciated. As well as you get to see some cool incentives if you donate. So
Well, we
that
do
then
actually
I guess
have
is
some
also
incentives. There are a lot of them actually. Well, there are some already being taken, and of course there are some really cool one like following the maid cosplay, the best one, I guess. There are some bonus runs. I will definitely not tell what are these. There are a lot of stuff, especially for upcoming Hogwarts Legacy. There are a lot cool incentives for them. And of course, I must say that any life matter, any money for life is matter. So what else? Uh, Anything you try to support, any way you try to help, this all matters, of course. Thanks, Zeno, by the way. There's the link for donation if someone's interested. And of course, last thing to say about the key areas of Trevor Project. Of course, it's crisis servers and direct suicide prevention, advocacy, fighting for policies and law that protects LGBT young people, research, evolution that significantly improve on service and fields. So not only they help people, they also researching how to improve their services and other services overall. Peer support and public education. Education is really important, and uh, this whole field is also required. Some at least understand that time to time, sadly, doesn't really be able to understand openly. So they help out with the educating people, and that's also really great. Anyway, back to runners.
Thank you so much. You guys are really doing great work. So yes,
Amen.
we just flew through 3-1. There's a lot of fun little tricks in there, and we are currently learning the ridiculous spell. And this lets us take down boggarts around Hogwarts. If you'll notice, we don't have Harry. In the storyline, Harry is scared of Dementors and leaves class early because of it. Here, the explanation is that Malfoy locked him in a cabinet or something along those lines. But Harry has the unique property that he has the fastest way to get rid of a boggart, and that's because it's not using Ridiculous. because Harry is scared of Dementors, he's actually able to just use Expecto Patronum right on them, and it is the fastest animation of any character to use Ridiculous on. If you notice from that little segment in there, Ron's is very slow. Ron is I believe, the slowest of every character, although there's only a small handful that have unique animations. Most people have, most people fear Voldemort the most, and so that's what they have as their Boggart.
Actually, the fastest being not ridiculous is so ridiculous.
And so now we are jumping through the. Sorry to pay attention for a second while I remember the pattern on the.
Oh yeah, so now we are getting going to divination. These games very closely follow the movies. So for those of you who've seen the movies, this scene occurs right after divination, or sorry, ridiculous, where basically Madam I guess Trelawney or Professor Trelawney basically all the class is just reading tea leaves and in the bottom of the cup, and Ron or Harry rather sees a Grim, which is a dog, which basically just she basically tells Harry that he's gonna die. Is basically the gist of what that is. So quickly you just go there to kind of address that fact, because like I said, these follow the movies so closely, and that was something, like I said, that happened there that was important. But now we are going to buck peak handling. Buck peak handling definitely being one of the harder 1P2C sections, because how I mentioned earlier, where the little pixies can become tricky. This is the main example of a place where they can become tricky. Is because of this back part of the level, or I guess the split rather. You we will see when Wario goes back there that the pixies can if you get run into one, they can actually fly around you, which can cause you to kind of stand still, which and not move, which can lose a couple seconds. That on top of the fact that it's just really annoying to get hit by them in this section.
Yeah, it loses a lot of time because it stuns your character, and so taking them out,
Pretty
like I
pretty
believe,
much.
is very important. But I do believe this is the hardest 1P2C section in the game, because we have to pick up these little drumsticks, and a whole lot of things can cause you to drop a drumstick. So you see here I'm parkouring over some lily pads. If I land in the water, not only do I drop the drumstick, it disappears back to where it was, and I have to wait for it to come back. If I go down a slope too steep, I drop the drumstick. If I get hit by an enemy, I drop a drumstick, etc.
And things like that, it just makes this section so brutal. It is probably in year 3 one of my least favorite splits for that reason. Just because it really, as Wario said, hammers home just how good your 1P2C is, and it really puts that to the test. But now we are done with that, so we don't have to worry about it anymore. And we are, after a little gap, heading back to another level in year 3. This probably is one of the more exciting levels of year 3 because, well, one, I guess more of a tiny note, we finally get to see the payoff of building that knight throughout this run that we've been doing, and why that was important. but also I guess more exciting about the actual tech in this game is that you get to see a transfig skip, and which skips. Actually, you get to see two transfig skips, which basically allows you to skip. I would say about 75% of this level.
This level is by far the
Which
most trick heavy. As you'll see here, what I'm about to do is a just straight parade of Lumos jumps.
Yeah, as he said, this being trick heavy, it pretty much is kind of a good test. Like how that last split was a good test of your 1P2C. This split is a good test of how good you are at most of the tricks in this game. And it really kind of it depending on how good you are, it kind of allows that part of, I guess, your game abilities to shine, which is really nice. I guess in that sense, it's a bit rewarding. On top of it, it just really just getting to showcase a lot of the fun tricks in this game, which who doesn't love to see some good tricks, right? But as you can see, sometimes doing the Lumos jumps can be a tad difficult. Like it also showcases just how sometimes difficult and both annoying they can be as well. Which yeah. So now we are going to try the first of two transfig skips. So basically, this transfig skip allows you to skip a cutscene, and it does look like he got stuck. So we are gonna have to do this anyway. So you will get to see what this was intended to skip, which was this cutscene, as well as this segment here, where you have to build this fire to get rid of the snowman blocking your path. And if you can skip this, it saves about 20 seconds to 30 seconds. And this next transfig skip will be here. It skips this mini boss fight with Draco, where he's firing snowballs at you, and then has an igloo that does more of the same. And it's a really long and tedious boss fight. So being able to hit that one first try was really good because it saves close to about a minute, if not more, I believe. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, you're right on that.
But now this is pretty much the end of the level. All you have to do is get these broomsticks over to the snowball, which, as you can see here, gets a snowball in the way of this door. And just like that, that is the end of this level.
Right. So the from here in the story, I know we're skipping cutscenes, so we're missing out on a lot of extra details. This was the little Hogsmeade skip, the little Hogsmeade portion where we skipped into Hogsmeade. Though, so that's what that little segment with Fred and George was. That was just us going through the secret passage. So now, in that, Harry was gifted his Marauders map, and so now we're taking advantage of it to see what's going on around Hogwarts at night.
And basically, when I guess which kind of segues into this level, which is basically where you, like you said, you're going around, just messing around about Hogwarts, and all of I guess, the teachers, along with Filch, are out. We will get to see some fun tech with Filch. I know we, if you remember, in 1-4, or the 4th level in year 1, we had a small run-in with Filch. So we get to here we get to it's a similar deal, so where we get to exploit his some of the way that he works. You will see that a bit more in the next room, but I guess talking about this now, this camera, the movement of this camera in this section of the room, as you can see, is not great. It really makes doing 1P2C challenging, just because it requires both characters to be close to each other. So it doesn't really allow for too much going off and kind of multitasking in terms of being able to get through this a bit faster. So this room inherently, because of that, is a tad slow.
What?
There you go.
I'm gonna be honest, I have never seen this before in my life.
Welcome to some
Oh.
marathons. Everything that you will never see in your whole life ever again will happen here.
I
It
think
never
we're
will
coming
happen again. It will. It wasn't ever happening. That's all about the freaking marathons. So we're having some fun
Yeah. So this
here.
is
Okay, I guess
yeah. So
I guess
this
we're
is
good.
so I guess. Oh. So welcome to Lego Harry Potter, guys. This is this is the this is what it's all about, right? This is the fun part of Lego speedrunning. Really, it's just some of those bugs. Like I said earlier, it really does add to the experience, just because I feel like every once in a while you do see fun things like that. That don't really they, you don't really see too often.
So I do have
That
to
don't really
report my
harm you in any
Hogwarts
way.
because I can only make player 2 jump. I could not drop in with him. I could just make him
Oh,
jump. So we'll see if this is a crash. Um, if so, I'll just have to restart. But we shouldn't. It shouldn't be too big of a deal. I'm still not able to drop in, so I am going to have to reset my game. That is very unfortunate.
I
But we do have a spare bit of time built in, so this should not be the end of the world.
of all of the glitches and bugs that I have seen, we have seen only the most obscure ones that I don't believe that either of us have ever seen before.
Right.
Coming out
So
in this run.
that was the infamous P3 glitch, where it seems to think that somebody else was dropped in with player 3. Um, Not sure why that happens, and I have never seen it in that room. I know there is a possible launch in that room. I'm not sure. It's not supposed to be able to happen on collection, so I'm not sure what caused that. But um, we're gonna lose a little bit of time. I just have to go and re-put in no cut, but we should still be on pace to finish with them.
Luckily enough, though, based on your original PB before you submitted, though, even on I believe your new PB as well. Luckily enough, we do have roughly one crash built in anyway. On average, it seems. So, like you said, this shouldn't be the end of the world.
Um,
Because we already
so
have it built in.
here is where we input our cheat code. So here I'm just entering exactly what the category is, and that should give us the no cut option. And what you'll see is just a little question mark for the description. Also, I will say it sounds like I'm picking up on some background noise from your Discord, by the way.
Here, give me 1 second.
In the meantime, we're just going to go back to year 3 and we're going to replay that level. Unfortunate that it happened, but as I said, this game is not exactly well polished.
Well, we are having a small silence. I would like to say a little bit more about TraverSpace, because TraverSpace is affirming online community for LGBT young people between the age of 13 to 24. TerraSpace helps young people to explore their identities, get advice, find some support, of course, and make friends in a moderated community. Really important because it's moderated. Intentionally designed for them. It's even more important. So, really cool people, as always, saying, helping a lot with crises, even every single day. So, as always, please, if you have, of course, some money, and of course, if you want to, don't hesitate. Any money matters, like any life matters. Won't stop saying that because it is indeed true. And now we are back to this level, as I see.
So now we should hopefully see how this level is meant to be done. A little unfortunate that it happened here because this is one of my favorite levels for tricks. Year 3 is a great showcase of speedrunning because of all the little techniques that you pick up on in the levels. So
Yeah, but like you said, it picks up there's a lot of neat little tricks, some of which are pretty exclusive to year 3, but year 3 does do a great job of it's really just showcasing everything as well. Like it shows a little bit of Lumos jump, a little bit of transfiguration, as well as some other things that you might not see in anywhere else. Which, like you said, is one of the beauties of year 3. Is just that this is really the, I believe, most trick heavy year outside of probably year 4, which we hopefully will get to in about 25 minutes, 25 minutes.
probably less than that, but yes. So now we're going to abuse Filch's AI, which is something very cool, and this is the only level, as far as I'm aware, that you can do this. So normally in this level, we need to build an invisibility potion to hide from Filch as we get into the next room. Instead, we're going to trick the room into thinking we're invisible. So what we do is we come over here and we let Filch grab Ron. We hit the cat so that Filch releases Ron, and then we both run into this corner as far as we can. We're going to move our camera as far over to the right as we can. And the game now thinks we're invisible, which means we're allowed to Wingardium Leviosa this and enter the next room.
That is a really cool little piece of tech. Really only done in this level. That really, like you said, just kind of abuses the way that Filch's, I guess, quote, logic or tech works in this game. Like I said, it's the only place where this happens, which is one of the things that I think that, like, kind of like we've said earlier, makes year 3 so unique. Because most things like that really only occur in this year. But now, finally, we are done that level as it should. So now we Tronum,
Yes. We are heading to a
which
trick of the
is
Tronum. This
sorry,
is
I was
also
just gonna say which like we said.
A very 1C2C heavy level.
There you go.
Heavy segment. And this allows Harry to hit Dementors as well as Boggarts.
Yes, so this is like I was gonna say, something pretty unique to Harry, I believe, where I believe only Harry's Boggart is a Dementor. And I believe that his is also the fastest Boggart
Yeah.
as well. Just because you can as you will see throughout this level, it doesn't take very long for them to be defeated. So, really, the I guess the gist of the split is that there are five Dementors or Boggarts in around this room in little chests, and you have to defeat all five Boggarts. And once you do, you will gain access to the spell Excited Patronum. And now it looks like once you watch this movie and get this last chest, that will be all of them. And then we are on our way to Year of Earth level 4.
Right. So if you notice there, Lupin also had his own unique Boggart. His was a moon, of course, for the fact that he is a werewolf and scared of the moon. Or I guess it's a metaphor that he's scared of who he turns into. I don't know. I don't do it. I'm not an English major. I don't know anything about metaphors, but there are a couple others. There are some unique ones, such as Snape's Boggart, or sorry, not Snape. Voldemort's Boggart is Harry, while most other characters in the games, Boggart is Voldemort. The Ravenclaw twins, whose name I am forgetting off the top of my head, have their own unique Boggarts as well, and that's because in the books, and I think the movies as well, you can actually see what their Boggarts are. Neville's is Snape. I want to say someone else is 81, but I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, so those fins that you're referring to, like you said, I believe Ravenclaw, those are the Patil twins.
Yes.
And I believe one of their Boggarts, I believe, is a clown, and the other one is, I believe, a snake.
Okay.
I don't know for sure if that's the way in the games it is, but I know that it is that way in the movie.
If I
anyways,
recall correctly, that is what it is in the games, but the games are backward. The games accidentally switched them. So whichever one feared the snake actually has the clown, vice versa.
But now we are in the 4th level of Year 3, so slowly getting towards the end of Year 3. But there is another transfig skip that we can do in this year, called Angry Tree Skip. It is very difficult to do, so Wario isn't going to do it because he is. It's more just for safety and consistency reasons. Just because it is so difficult to get. But basically, all you do is, as you've I'm sure seen already, you let yourself get grabbed by this tree and just start attacking it. And the more that you attack one of the bulbs or I guess plants on top of the tree, it does a heart of damage, and every heart of damage equates to one of the roots being removed to go to the next section of the game. I guess this level.
Now, if you noticed, it had 3 hearts, but I had to write it 4 times. That's because I accidentally hit transfig on the arm, like the hand of the Whomping Willow, and for some reason the game interprets that as having been transfigured either into a rat or a frog. Not that it really matters, but it means it can no longer hold weight, which is a really odd piece of tech or piece of trivia, I suppose.
And now here in this section, this is a really 1P 2C section, heavy section. And really what we're doing at this point in the game is making our way into the Shrieking Shack. Because if you recall from the movies, you were chasing after Snape, or sorry, after the dog who took Ron, and into the Shrieking Shack. So this is going through the secret passage to the Shrieking Shack in order to save Ron. And towards the end of this room, there is a neat little transfig skip that isn't really used anywhere else, and all that it entails is just transfiguring one of the players into a character, and then for whatever reason, it lets you walk through this section with the vine in it, even though you haven't removed it yet. Which does save a tad bit of time because it means that obviously you don't have to go and get through the last one.
So from my understanding, what happens is there are 3 vines to remove, and each one has makes a little plane that you can't walk past, like a little hitbox plane. Once you remove 2 of them, the plane is thin enough that when you transfig, you can just clip straight through the plane, and that's why it happens. So it doesn't matter which 2 you remove, so long as you remove 2 of them.
Right.
And now we're getting to possibly my favorite part of the year. That is the wrong controller. Which is this little outdoor section. Because just like the Underground 3-2, it is a display of Lumos jumps and little tricks, which I am apparently not doing so great at.
But really, what you do is it allows you just from, I guess these Lumos jumps just allow you to skip building all the different things that you would normally need to stand up on in order to get through the different sections of this level. And generally speaking, that went pretty smooth. So now we are done the level, just like that. And now we are on to the 5th year, or the 5th level of this year, where we basically go back in time.
Sorry, we find out that Hermione can time turner, and so this is the part where Dumbledore says
Correct.
you can only save 2 lives at once.
So, right. So basically, I guess the whole point of this level is you are trying to save Sirius, and as well as Buckbeak. So this little first room really is, like I said, is more of saving the ladder, where you see Buckbeak trapped, and basically you're just gonna go through and do just that, save Buckbeak. So here we see a little bit of using the Mandrake, which we haven't seen in a little bit. It is nice that you do get to kind of see that a little bit, just because I mean, this is really the only place that you do get to see it is in this level.
I do
But,
think that's the last time we see it, but I'm not sure off the top of my head. So,
I believe so.
In this next room, we're going to end up skipping just about everything with another transfig skip. This little ledge back here behind the rock has some really weird hitboxes that just allow us to jump straight up. And we jump right over. And so normally we have to watch some animation, and I don't even remember. It's been so long since I played this level casually.
Yes. So basically, what you would have to do in this level normally is you would have to go and build a little rain cloud in order to fill up the water to be able to go to the second section. I guess to be able to lily pad up to the second section. And so, really, like you said, just what that transfix skip does is it skips you having to build that lily pad as well as use Immobilis on the little pixies holding it up, as well as skip the cutscene that watches the rain fill up the little lake to get up there. And now a lot of this level, as you saw, is just get the rest of this room is just skipped without Lumos jump. It skips you having to build all the things that you need to get up to Lumos that I guess snowball, and pretty much the rest of this level now is just using Expecto Patronum and killing the rest of the Dementors in order to save Sirius. And pretty much just like that, now we save Sirius, and that is the level.
So we are on to the last
And
level in year 3. It's titled the Dark Tower. I believe every single level is named after a book chapter. And this is the one where we will be formally saving Sirius.
yes, so like you said, this is where we would be formally saving Sirius. And this level is probably one of I guess probably in this year my least favorite, just because of this first room, or I guess more the two segments after this room actually, where the 1P2C is really difficult. But in this room we will see it in a second. But you get to do a little fun piece of tech, where you get to Wingardium Leviosa Harry from this barrel and allow him to be able to jump to skip a lot of this level, or this segment of the game. Typically, what you would do is you would since that bucket is or barrel is filled with water, you would just let it play out and fill the trigger the animation of it watering the plants at the bottom, and then just jump up from the plants. But just like what the skip implies, it skips you doing that, and which I think is a little neat trick in this game that if done well, it saves a little bit of time. And this part isn't it's pretty much just a slight little hint of I guess 1P2C and some of the struggles, just because it's a lot of jumping and making sure you're a bit accurate with where you're landing. But this section of 1P2C is really difficult because with player one, you can't really see much of what's going on. I mean, you just have to kind of generally know what you're supposed to do just by kind of knowledge of the game. So basically, while Hermione is down there building or using the rune book, player one is trying to gather all the ingredients for the strength potion. And it can be difficult, obviously just because, like I said, you can't really see much of anything. And after this, there aren't really too many skips worth noting. It's we will see, I guess, after this room, the boss fight for this year, which is some more Dementors. That is, I guess, the real theme of this year is they kind of really, that's the one thing that kind of does stink about this year, is that they really do lay on the Dementors thick, which can be annoying for some, but in some instances I don't really mind.
This
There
level,
one thing I guess to note. Sorry, what were you
yeah,
gonna say?
this boss fight is notorious for soft blocking. And not really
I
sure why.
um yeah, like you said, I also am not really sure why. Um, but for some reason there are times when like this. So basically, what the soft lock is that sometimes it like after you get frozen, like you see in all the things, hit the Dementor, you were supposed to be able to just use expect a Patronum on it, and once you do that, it does a heart of damage, and for some reason it doesn't let you do any damage to the Dementor, and there's no way in or out of this room, so you're just kind of stuck here without really able to like being able to do anything. But luckily, no soft lock there, and that is the end of year three.
All right, and now we move
Um,
into the shortest year by far, um, where this is one of the most skip heavy. I mean, it is the most skip heavy year. But the tech is very cool, I will admit. So,
um,
do you want to talk about
we
what
will
happened
also,
here in Tour One?
yeah. So one, I guess the first two levels really are the two skips where you can save the most time of any skip in the run. So in the final room of this game, there is a little trick that you can do that is kind of like wrong warping, where you can warp Hermione out of bounds, and then you walk to a certain point of like a certain point out of bounds, and basically for whatever reason you can pull out Crookshanks, and if you can jump out of bounds underground, and for whatever reason it hits the end trigger of the level without you really having to do anything. So I mean, you will see that. It's a little hard to explain without you really being able to see it, but it is coming up right about here, and it is one of I think most the coolest tricks visually in this run. Like it's really the main out of bounds trick in this game, and like I said, you basically skip out of bounds, and you can go to I guess the edge of what will be this room, and
Just like that.
you can pull up. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I just said just like that.
Yep, just like that. You can pull out Crookshanks, and what he was trying to do was what he just did there, was for whatever reason, if you hit Crookshanks and jump and hit a very specific point, I don't know exactly why, but it hits the end trigger for that level, and it skips the final, I guess, boss fight of the level where you see Barty Crouch Jr. casting the Dark Mark into the sky. So that saves about a minute and a half or so, I believe. And now we are going to Aging Potion. And the Aging Potion outside of the split really isn't important to the category, but in the story it's useful because the Weasley twins are trying to enter themselves into the Triwizard tournament, and they are young, where they make themselves older to try and cross the age line that Dumbledore created, which, long story short, it does not work. But if you do decide to do any percent in this game, there are some cool little tricks that you can do regarding aging potion, um, and exploiting how the logic in this game works, which is really cool. Um, a weird little, um, I guess no, another kind of aside that I will make is that there is there's this a weird glitch that happens. I haven't seen it happen for anybody else other than Wario, but for some reason, after 1-1, there's a glitch where it says end level instead of continue story, and or exit level rather. And for some reason, it takes him after the first level in the game. It takes him right to here, and he cannot leave this room. I believe, correct?
Because in order to complete the story, you need things that you've not unlocked after beating 1-1. It's a very odd glitch. It's one of the featured videos on my Twitch channel. But yes, as Exotic Alpha mentioned, in 100%, you actually take advantage of the aging potion twice, and two unique properties of it. The first of which is that if you hit an aging potion line while you exit a room, the game will permanently give you that. Will permanently act as if you can pass through aging lines. So if you look at a 100% room, 100% run, you'll see that this is used to skip building an aging potion in the potions room, because you can just take advantage of the fact that there is an age line to become old infinitely without needing to make a potion. The other usage, the other fun glitch about aging potion, the aging line specifically, is that it doesn't work if you're on a broomstick. And so in the last bonus level of this game, which you'll get to witness later because I believe Captain Paxo is running all bonus levels later this marathon, you can fly straight over the aging line with a broomstick. So now we're going to one of, if not the most important skips in the run.
Yeah, so this skip is famously known as the Dragon's skip, mostly just because this skip really just skips. I guess it's more well known in this level because this level is titled Dragons, but really what you do it really, this is the skip that I was talking about earlier, where it really shows, like, this is like the signature Lumos jump slash long jump trick. If you cannot hit this skip, it loses about 5 minutes to 6 minutes because you skip like 45% of the level. And as Wario does, he's going to practice it, and he does not hit it. So what you can do in this level is you can skip pretty much, like, you should be able to jump. I guess there's a little tiny little wall there that you should be able to, with a Lumos jump or a long jump, be able to jump over. And it, like I said, it skips most of the level. You will hopefully he will hit it here. So I can actually show you what this looks. So we can actually show you what this looks like. But really, what you're skipping is going around, and like, you have to. It basically skips the rest of the rest of this room. I don't.
It's
Oof.
notoriously difficult. It can be very consistent, but I am not very consistent with it. And so we'll just see everything that you could have skipped. I'll point it out when we get back to where we're supposed to be. But yes.
So unfortunately, he did, like I said, we did not hit it. But it is, I guess we will see some of like a lot of what you could have skipped, like I said. And you will soon realize, I guess, just how long the rest of this level is, and just how important, I guess, to a successful run this can be. It is super unfortunate that something that loses you so much time takes takes place so far into the run. Like, as you can see, I mean, obviously we're 2 hours into the run, so having something this important is it just is really unfortunate. But that's something that could make or break it takes place here. But I guess there really, I don't know how much more you have to add here, other than just really the importance of that skip. But I guess so. Like you said here, this dragon will play music notes, and as you see here, if you hit the like the color of the notes corresponds with which key I guess you have to hit on whatever instrument that is, and if you get it wrong, it resets from the most recent I guess the most recent trial, I guess we'll call it. So you have to go through that 3 times, and as you can see, this is this is just because of how finicky sometimes using the Guardian Leviosa can be. This is really difficult. So if you can hit that dragon skip, you really it saves a lot of time from you having to do things like that, and missing some of the, like as you saw here, missing some of the jumps that you can see here. Sometimes it is a little difficult to be accurate with that. But now we are going to Wario is going to try to jump up onto this get up onto this platform by using this bucket of water to cool off the fire to build a staircase for him, for Harry and Hagrid to get up. This is a little tedious, but if you fail the dragon, if you hit the dragon skip, you can hit it to where you have to do to where you fall off of this little I guess platform here, and you still have to do this small little section here. But if you hit it perfectly, you can skip this section as well and land perfectly on the platform. To basically, so Dragon skips everything up until right here, which I'm not sure how long that was, but I'm sure that was, I think that was about 3 to 4 minutes.
Yeah, it's about 4 minutes.
So in this category, it loses about 4 minutes, and if you had cutscenes, it's a bit more. So like I said, like I've said a couple times now, this skip is huge, basically, as I'm sure now you have seen why. But there isn't too much more in this level. That is, it's really just more 1P2C heavy, in the sense that in this next room, I believe, you will both players 1 and 2 will be on different levels. So having to control, actually, sorry, no, it's the room after this. So having to control them both, it's not necessarily difficult, but just keeping track of them sometimes can be a bit annoying. I don't know if there's anything more that you have to add on this level.
I don't think so. Not off the top of my head.
But yeah, this is so. I guess this is the last room of this level. So basically, this is one of the few times in this run where the invisibility cloak will be used. Because a lot of the times you've skipped it through glitches, so various different glitches and things of the sort. So really, I guess the most interesting part is that of this room is that you are like I said, controlling players on different levels. So really, all you are doing is trying, like the bottom player tries to clear a path for the top player, and kind of vice versa. And this is, I think, the only, or one of the only segments of the run like this where actually I think the next time you have a section like this is later in this year, 2 levels from now. But where you have players on 2 different levels of
Right.
a little section. But so that is the level. That level. If you are following along, that was obviously the second level. So now we're heading to level 3 of year 4. Slowly winding down here in terms of the rest of this run. There are, as I'm sure we said already, 6 years or 6 levels in every year. So we're heading to level 3. We have all of our spells that we need. Actually, sorry,
We're
we are
actually
going
going
to
to the
Reducto.
last one.
Yes, correct. We are going to the last spell that we need, Reducto. And then pretty much after Reducto, it will just be levels 3, 4, 5, and 6. And that is the rest of the run. So there isn't too much longer left in this run, but it really. So like I said, we are kind of in the home stretch. So I don't know if you have anything really to add about Reducto or
Um,
anything that is to come.
no, So, for 3, we're going to see what is considered one of. It's considered RNG because of how finicky the skip is. It's titled Loopy Skip after the person who found it, and doing so skips a small portion of the level, but it is incredibly precise and it looks very obnoxious. So we'll see it in just a moment. Yeah.
But so here, I guess, to kind of press on, we are at the point in the story where we're in the throes of the Traverser tournament. The last level was Hagrid showing Harry that the first task of the Traverser tournament is going to involve dragons. And this level, is called the first task. So I mean, pretty much what this level is just taking us through obviously, as the name implies, the first task. And the fact that you have to fight a dragon to get the egg, because the egg holds a secret. And now here we're coming up on Loopy Skip. So basically, Loopy Skip, all it does, it's a bit of RNG. So you're normally not able to jump. That was actually really good. Loopy Skip very quick. So normally you're not able to jump up. I guess without that skip, you're not able to. I guess normally jump up the side of the wall like that. So you're supposed to get the dragon to start attacking, I believe, a puppy in order to destroy all of those rocks to allow you to progress forward. But it skips you having to build the puppy and having to watch the cutscene in which the dragon, I guess, attacks it, etc. Which, if you can get it quickly, as Wario did, it saves a lot of time. It saves at least 30 seconds, if not more. Which is really good that he hit it. And so now we are getting to the second kind of more auto-scroller level, or segment of this year, or I guess this run. This is the last kind of auto-scroller segment like this, where, I mean, pretty much you're just running. For whatever reason, Lego games in general really like this kind of stick, where you're just having to kind of run away from something chasing you. So now we are finished that level. So we, as I said earlier, we're heading straight on through to level 4. And level 4 is where you know, Harry now has the egg, and he's trying to figure out, you know, what the message is. So pretty much all level 4 is all it is Harry pretty much going to the prefect's bathroom, hanging out with Moaning Myrtle. Sorry to phrase that in a way that sounded a bit suggestive. Did not mean that to come across that way. Anyway, Moaning Myrtle is trying to figure out how to help Harry with the secret of what's in Harry's what the message that is in Harry's egg. And there aren't really any skips in this level. It's a pretty straightforward level. It really this first room is a bit 1P2C heavy. But like I said earlier, as I'm sure you'll see, there aren't really too many tricks or skips here. It isn't really terribly interesting of a level, as far as those go. I don't know if you have anything to add here about this level or anything.
I will say this is probably the most plain level in the run. If you want to come in and plug the Trevor project one more time, the last 2 levels are a bit more skip heavy, so I don't think we'll get a chance for that.
Well, I actually do have something to say about Trevor Project, indeed. So, a little bit more about Crisis 4. So, the Trevor Project saves lives of LGBTQ people, young people especially, as we all remember, in Crisis every single day. When LGBTQ young people feel lost, they're there to let them know they're not alone. better and whenever and whether they reach out. They're deep. They're of course very deeply empathy crisis care to help access their inner strength and resilience. And they go beyond crisis services to create more welcoming world for young people, forging a collective system to support. They also help young people to see the possibilities of their future. Really cool people, I must say. So, what else can I say except the main 5 primary key areas, of course, are crisis services, direct suicide prevention and crisis intervention service to support via phone, text, or chat, advocacy for policies and laws to protect, research to evolve and significant the nighttime and brain rot is coming through, significantly improve their services and field, peer support and public education. That's it for me. Going back to you, people.
Yes. Thank you guys. If you have the flexibility to donate, it's a really great cause. Again, for every person, every run I'm able to beat in the course of this, I will be donating as well. And I encourage you all to donate if you have the flexibility
Yeah.
to do so.
Any money
Yeah, and
matters a lot.
yeah, and like
say
as
something? Sorry for interrupting.
no, you're okay. I was just gonna say as we kind of as me and Wario kind of and like slowly come to the end of our run, it we did like I also just want to impress upon you guys just how important, or I guess how I guess really big of a cause that this is, and how many people that this affects, and so like Skillet has said, any money matters. All lives matter,
All life
and
matter, yeah.
so so really any money that you can donate if you're able to really goes forward in helping your fellow human beings. So like I said, that's kind of my message. So if you can afford to donate, you are helping one of your fellow people, which is I guess really at the end of the day what this is all about is just trying to help out some people in need, which is always a good thing to do if you can afford to do so.
Yes, always please don't forget it's not mandatory to donate. If you can, if you have the will to do so, please any money you can afford to donate, even $1, even the most minimal donation, it's always welcome. But if you can't, please don't be worried. It sadly time to time happens in our lives. But as always, don't forget, any money matter, any life matters. And here we are helping out a travel project that are helping out other people. So a little bit sounding strange, but still, what else can I say except helping out is really important as anything related to here. And it's also really cool to see the runs out. And of course, if you want to donate and make something out of it, I guess, sorta. Of course, incentives. Brain does indeed stopping working, but incentives is a good way to do so. You can donate for Flow in the maid costume. You can donate for Hogwarts Legacy that is upcoming pretty much soon on the schedule. So you can affect some rounds. You can add some new bonus rounds. I won't be telling which one. But that's it for me telling so runners, anything to say?
Um, No, thank you again.
Um,
We're currently doing one of my favorite skips, although I have been told that this level is fairly controversial in how well it's liked in the LEGO speedrunning community. Apparently, levels in LEGO games need to have a water level every now and then. And so this one, they place us in the middle of the Black Lake for task 2. And due to the physics of the water, we are lucky enough that we can hit ourselves straight out of bound by using the Reducto spell. It gives the player being hit some knockback, and it's enough to get it straight out of bound.
so so now that we have done that, we are pretty much entering the last room of this level. This level with that little skip that Wario was talking about is actually fairly quick. The one annoying part about this room is if you get hit by the mermaids, as you can see that player 2 has been, it is pretty difficult to get them free. And as you can see, it is pretty common to get one or at least one, if not both, players trapped by mermaids, which is very annoying as you try to do this puzzle. That is the probably biggest time loss in this level, more than anything. And yeah, so like I said, it really is just that's probably the hardest part of this level is just navigating all of the different enemies and things underwater. But now we are done that level, off to the final level of this run, which is kind of crazy to say that. It feels like this run has flown by. But this level, this is the first and only time in which you get to go up to Dumbledore's office. This is the only time in which you get to go past this segment, this little pipe where Fluffy was in year 1. So that I guess is also slightly noteworthy. But because really the only reason that you come up here, other than to do levels, is for other different 100% things, such as red bricks and character tokens and things like that. But this level is it is basically at the point in the story where you are going to the final task of the Triwizard Tournament, which is the maze section of the tournament. Basically, all the characters have to do is get through the maze, get to the cup, and then they win. This level has some pretty unique, um, some pretty unique. I don't even know the word for it. I guess characteristics. I don't even know, but they like this level for example, or this segment for example. This is the only segment like it where you have to build these knights, and what these knights do is show you which segment, I guess, door, for lack of a better word, to go through, and you do have to go into these doors in a specific order. You can correctly, I guess, correct me if I'm wrong in how I word this, but this, or I guess you can kind of word this better for me, and how exactly the game checks for whether or not you've entered the doors in the correct order.
Right, so it doesn't actually check that you do them right after another without failing. The way it checks is it first looks to see if you've gone through the right door, and then it checks to see if you've gone through the left door. So it doesn't matter if you do any doors in between. You can do right, left. But so long as you do right and then eventually left, you'll eventually, you'll eventually progress on to the next room. It's a little bit of an odd technique, yeah, a little bit of odd tech, but it works for times like these when I don't quite remember the order off the top of my head. And we have one last Lumos jump to finish the run.
And this limo jump that Wario mentioned, it skips basically this whole room, which is nice. This room is
We should also mention that we are
it's not very yes. So the last heart of Voldemort's damage, I believe, is time, correct?
Yes. So once you deal his last heart, I don't know why I'm getting such bad luck with these.
Yeah, so once you deal the last heart of damage to Voldemort, then that is when time ends.
I have no idea what that was. I've never seen that before. What is this run?
So all you have to do is basically just hit all of the Death Eaters that spawn, and once you hit all the Death Eaters, you should get into a little duel with Voldemort. I'm not sure exactly what that little glitch was that didn't allow you to duel with Voldemort. But pretty much.
Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're completely okay.
And GG's, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. Amen. Yeah, that was a great run. Do you have any final closing thoughts here?
Just
as we kind of finish up.
Shout out the people for putting Potterthon together. This was an amazing opportunity, and I'm so glad to be a part. If you like this kind of material, make sure you check out all the other LEGO runners. There's a great handful of them, and they'll all more entertaining than me and Alpha. But yes, thank you again.
Yes. Yeah, thank you guys again. As I'll kind of echo similar sentiments. If you enjoy this stuff, you know, you could obviously check out both of us, but also more importantly, check out the rest of the LEGO runners. And again, thank you so much to all the people, the wonderful people at Potterthon for setting up such an awesome event to donate to such a great cause. And again, I am so grateful to have been a part of this. Again, like I said, such a good cause. So thank you again to everybody, and good luck to everybody else who is running. And yeah, that's all about all I have.
And I'd like to say thank you so much for joining this whole event. It's really awesome to see the runs. The run was itself really cool. It was fairly good show off. And of course, as always, please people check out the runners. They are really cool doing so. Of course, joining this cool event and everything. And as always, please stick around just a little bit more, because up next we are having Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets PlayStation 2. Oh, I haven't been seeing PS2 runs for quite a while. 80%. Gonna be a really cool run too. By even cooler people, even cooler person, Visus, right? Hope I managed to nail the nickname. But yeah, please stick around. We'll see each other just in a little bit after this small intermission. But yeah, bye bye.